become really close to your creative team or a creative freelancer who can help you make those ads, because the success of the ads, about 75 to 80% of the success comes from the creative.
You're listening to the Keep Optimizing podcast to increase your traffic, improve your conversion rates, and grow your profits.
Hello and welcome. I'm Chloe Thomas, the host of this e-commerce marketing focus podcast. If you're not familiar with our format, each month we focus on a different marketing method. Could be email or SEO or Facebook ads. And each week I interview a different expert to explore the latest advice on making it work for you. This month we're doing something a little different because we're exploring the wider world of digital advertising. Each week, each episode, we're tackling a different way you could do advertising to grow your sales, to grow your profits. The theory being that it's a really exciting time in digital ads at the moment. Not only are there a whole load of different channels you can now run your digital ads on, there's also a good argument for taking budget away from Google and Facebook, where it's all become very competitive, very complicated to succeed, and putting it in some of these newer areas, these blue oceans, as it were. So far this month, we've looked at TikTok ads, we've looked at Pinterest ads, we've also done a whole episode on iOS 17 and how those updates are going to affect your ad activity, and kind of which merged into a wider discussion about the impact of all the privacy changes on our advertising activity and attribution. Fascinating episode if you haven't yet already heard that one. And in this episode, we're exploring another platform, one I'm going to guess none of you are currently advertising on this platform, I reckon. If any of you are, though, do let me know. I'd love to be proved wrong on that one. We're exploring Reddit ads. Yes, that strange, marvellous forum-esque social channel that is Reddit. We've been lucky enough to get someone who is doing a lot of successful marketing on Reddit. So kind of retailer side, I guess. Izzy, who's joining us, is head of paid social at Vodafone, the big mobile phone company. She's come on to talk about how they're using Reddit ads and give you all a bit of a step-by-step guide to how you could do it yourself. There's some brilliant insight coming up on how to measure it, how to attribute it, how to run it, how to optimize it. Loads and loads of good advice. Plus, do make sure you listen right to the end, because her insider tips, where she talks about the wider world of digital advertising, are super powerful as well. So make sure you listen right to the end. Do you want more from your paid ad campaigns this year? Are you tired of disappointing results? Are your optimizations delivering low to no performance improvements? If that sounds familiar, it's because the game has changed, which means you need a chat with my friends at Digital Gearbox. They are masters in the art of pay-per-click marketing. Their expert team have helped transform businesses around the world with tried and tested strategies that actually get results. And right now, they're offering a free one-on-one consultation to 10 ambitious Keep Optimizing listeners looking to get more sales and better returns online. Only 10 of you can get this brilliant offer, so don't delay. Get your free consultation now. Head over to keepopt.com/digital gearbox and let Digital Gearbox show you the true power of PPC. Do you have a problem only an awesome piece of e-commerce tech can solve? Is your e-commerce tech stack not quite fit for purpose anymore? Then why not explore the latest technology on offer at e-commerce tech? We are going through a hugely changing time in the tech landscape at the moment, and if you want to be bringing the best results you can in your business, then you need to be on top of what's going on in the tech space. To find out that and much more, head to keepopt.com/tech. That's keepopt.com/TECH. keepopt.com/tech to find all the best tools for your e-commerce store. In this episode, I'm chatting with digital advertising expert Izzy Morris. Izzy's been running paid social for a wide range of consumer-facing brands for nearly a decade, both in-house and agency side, and she's now head of paid social at Vodafone. Hello, Izzy.
Hi, gosh, feels like a massive introduction. So thanks so much for having me on the show.
Great to have you here, and thanks so much for asking to be on, because I'm going to take a rough punt. You have a lot of experience in this area, so I'm really looking forward to hearing about it all and what we can do with Reddit. But How did you end up specialising in digital advertising and paid social in particular?
Do you know, it was a complete accident, actually. I ended up work experiencing or interning at an agency in London in Shoreditch, and thought it was really cool. And that's just the short of it. I thought it was really cool. I loved the office. I loved the casual vibe. And I never thought that I could work in an environment like that. And through that, fell into a few different roles, ended up working specifically in paid social. And because I loved that social media space in general, that passion kind of drove me forward quite quickly. And in that agency world, I feel like you can really progress in a relatively quick space of time because you gain so much experience with so many different people and clients. But then over the last few years, I've been more on that in-house area. And that to me is a lot more sustainable. Agency is crazy, but in-house, I think, is the place that I'll be for my foreseeable future now.
For anyone doing ads, whether it's Google ads, Facebook ads, social ads, Reddit ads, I think there's definitely a huge amount to be learned by being agency side for a couple of years to learn.
Couldn't agree more. It just exposes you to so much, I think. And you do so many different things. You wear so many different hats. You stress about so many different things. And that's actually it's so great for your personal development. And I definitely wouldn't be in the position that I'm in now without any of that agency experience. It also teaches you around managing people and your time as well. Because if you want to get out on time, you better work quickly, efficiently, and get things done.
Oh, so true. And it's just experiencing all those different accounts and all the different product types and different ways of doing things because you're working with the clients. I think it's such a good grounding. But then going client side and be able to get really properly deep into a category and a subject certainly has its own excitements as well. So thank you for sharing all that with us. We're here to talk Reddit ads. I'll be honest, I'm not really even a Reddit user, let alone a Reddit advertiser. So what is Reddit, Izzy? Because I'm going to assume several of our audience have heard of it but never really done it. So what is Reddit?
I think Reddit, so there's the perception side of it where it's kind of got a bit of a strange user, but people think it has a bit of a strange user base and they're not really sure what its use is. But really, Reddit is a community of communities. It's a user-generated platform where people engage with their passions, their interests, and other people that share those similar passions and interests. There's no influencers on the platform, so everything that people are talking about and plugging potentially is actually quite genuine. It has, I think, over about 100,000 communities of real people in that, and they're just looking for information, insights, those shared experiences, and people that are similar to them. I find it really useful for news, entertainment, culture, and that knowledge sharing as well.
So you as a human being use it yourself for things you're interested in. Is that a good first step before we do any advertising? Go and actually start hanging out on Reddit and seeing how it works. Is that important to do before you do anything else?
Personally, I think so. I think it's a really great first step. I think everyone has a passion. Mine personally is reality TV. And there's some amazing subreddits about reality TV that really dig into the topic. A bit too much for some people, I'm sure. But if you're passionate about that topic, it will really, really get into it. And there'll be people, I don't know, reviewing fridges or talking about the most random things ever. But if you're actually looking for a new fridge, do you know what? It might actually be really useful to know someone that's talking about them. So it's those weird and wonderful things that make it what it is.
And what is a subreddit?
So a subreddit is a conversation and an area that people can talk about those things in. The subreddits normally have a topic, and within that area, that's what those people in that subreddit talk about. It can be about anything, like there are some more general ones, a bit more news-based, a bit more entertainment-based, but they're normally starting to drill down into those passion points.
Got you. So trying to put this in a way to make the uninitiated understand, because whilst I don't use Reddit, I have been there, everyone, so I know a little bit about it. But it's a bit like a massive kind of mansion with different rooms you could walk into to talk about different things, and each of those rooms is a subreddit. Would that be a fair analogy?
Yeah, that's such a good description. But actually, when you go into those rooms, you don't know who anyone is, and that doesn't matter. So most people's Reddit usernames aren't their full name. So mine probably wouldn't be Izzy Morris. It might be something really random. I think that makes it a kind of safe space that you're not judged for an opinion. But I will talk about this also on the other side that can bring potential harm. But there's a huge amount done by Reddit to reduce that, and it is a very safe space to be in. So I think they've got a lot of things right in that.
Cool. So we've talked about that it's useful being an organic Reddit user to get to grips with what the platform is and what it does before you start spending money on it. As a brand, do you have to do organic as well as do ads?
Not at all, no. So Vodafone don't have an organic presence on Reddit. We don't have an organic strategy on Reddit. And that's absolutely fine because not a lot of brands will have organic presences on it because you don't really have pages in that way, where you would be creating content and churning it out, for a better word. Whereas on Reddit, I think you can actually just be that advertiser. So it makes it very versatile because if you've got a campaign coming up and you want to be on Reddit for a short period of time, you don't need to do a huge backlog of content to ensure that your profile is filled. So it makes it quite agile in the way that you can work on an advertising side.
Got you. So we don't need to worry about organic. So what does a Reddit ad do? What does it look like? Give us the basics of how Reddit ads work.
Yeah, so there's a few different types of ads that they have. There's some called takeovers that are quite expensive, so they're more of what the big brands will do. So we do quite a few takeovers. This might be that you have a front page takeover or a category takeover. Front page is the most expensive, and that's where you're essentially doing a buy to be on that front page. That would be for big product launches that are relevant to lots and lots of people. The category takeovers, this is one level down. So you might be buying the tech category, let's say, for the day. We might do that for a new product launch like iPhone. But once again, that's quite expensive. And that does have to be done as a direct buy. And then you've got the self-service part, which is more the bread and butter of what we do, where you can serve ads within the feed on Reddit, within particular subreddits even. So if we are, as an example, launching a new phone, Reddit has options to match to each plan. So we might want to be on the subreddit pick an Android for me, as an example, if it was a Samsung launch or if it was a phone launch around that. So there's areas that you can get within that are very specific and, yeah, very interesting and niche.
Okay, so there's that direct buy type of the takeovers. I guess you're dealing direct with human beings to book that.
Exactly. So that's, you would kind of think as more like an old school newspaper buy or something like that, where you go and buy it. Whereas what I can imagine a lot of the listeners will be doing is that self-service part. And that's what we do a lot of as well. And it's such a useful tool to have and be on. And some of the results that we get are very, very favourable and not as expensive as you might think they would be.
Okay, so let's dive into that self-service part, because me, like you, I think that's where the audience's ears are probably pricking up. Let's talk about ad format, then we'll talk about targeting, and then we'll talk about budgets and performance and that kind of stuff. So what does the ad actually look like? Is it a text ad? Is it a video? Does it look like another Reddit comment? What does it look like?
Really here you can have, I guess, 3 different will be the options. So you can have a video, you can have a text, or you can have static. The bread and butter of ours sits in that static and video area, but you can have text only, but we don't believe that it drives as efficient results as the video and static ones. And they appear within the feed. So they'll be as you're scrolling through subreddits or as you're scrolling on the platform in the feed, and they will be integrated, looking very organic, so they don't disrupt your viewing within it.
Guys, they kind of blend in like a Facebook ad blends in.
Yeah, exactly. For example, on stories, let's say on Meta or Instagram, as an example, you have to tap through something if you don't want to see it. So it's forcing you to view that and you have to get rid of it. Whereas within the Reddit feed, I think it's a lot more organic in the way that it's sat within that. And that is the same with some of the others in feed options. but it has an organicness to it.
Yeah, totally get that. And just a quick one, static means just an image, static image.
Oh yeah, just an image, doesn't move.
Got you. So we got static video or text ads as our format that look organic within Reddit. Targeting, from what you said so far, I would assume that targeting is based on subreddits.
Yeah, there are a few different options here. So you can target based on device, carrier, like so if they're on Vodafone or EE, broad interests, like for example consumer electronics, but then you can also target by those niche communities. So if you have a very specific product that you want to get to a very specific audience, you can do that. The only downside of that is that you're limiting your reach. So you might drive up your cost a little bit because it's a very specific group of people that you want to reach. So I think broader can be better sometimes, but at the same time, if it is a really high propensity group that might convert, then it's worth doing.
Got you. So some really nice big and granular targeting in there, which it sounds like it's quite easy to get our heads around as well.
Oh, yeah. And if you've used Meta or any of the other social buying methods, the buying method is very similar and the targeting options are very similar. So it won't feel like you have to learn a whole new platform like you might have to when you first use Meta ads. It's quite a lot simpler in the offering that it has.
Got you. And I said once we'd done ads and targeting, we'd get on to the wonderful world of performance and budgets. In the last episode, we spoke about Pinterest ads, and my guest was saying that you could start a Pinterest ad test from as little as £20 a day. Is that similar numbers for Reddit? Do we need to have a bigger budget, or can we get away with a smaller budget and still see some results coming through?
See, this is the how long is this piece of string question. I think you can see results for any budget. The only thing was if you have a budget that's too small, so I would probably be saying no less than £50 a day personally, but that depends on the product that it is that you're promoting as well, because if it's a high value product, £50 probably won't be enough to get enough conversions through the algorithm to ensure it optimizes effectively. But if you've got a more low value product, let's say you're selling greetings cards, a £3 greetings card, £50 a day might be perfect. But if you're selling insurance, then you need to be up probably more at least £1,000 a day to allow it to optimize effectively with that number of conversions it needs.
Got you. So similar to how we should think about things on Facebook or Google when we're conversion targeting, you actually need to feed the algorithm some data to get some results.
Totally. And if, say, you don't have a huge budget and you want to do it, but you want to trial it anyway, I would be saying have a campaign that's a week long and put a decent amount of money into it for that week to try, see how it goes. And after that week, or maybe even a little bit longer, you will get some good learnings and good results out of that and know how you're going to progress forward. And 9 times out of 10, I think that you will continue to advertise on Reddit if you think that space is the right one for you to be in.
Got you. So we could do. I've got like 1,000,001 questions from what you were just saying then, Izzy, which is brilliant. So actually no. First question. So there's a pixel we need to install on our website to track conversions. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. Done in the same way as any other advertising platform.
Cool. And then, so that was a nice quick one. More in depth though, you say about doing the 1 week test. That raises 2 questions in my head. Is a week long enough to see if you can get results?
No. But I think out of a week, you are going to get at least some good learnings to take away from that. So that might be what creative is working for us. What do we need to start investing more in? That might be what targeting is working for us as well. So that kind of becomes the building ground and the growth start, and then running another test or continuing to run that always on style and learning as we go through.
Got you. So it's a good way of going, I keep procrastinating. Should I do Reddit? Should I not do Reddit? Right, let's do it for a week, see what happens. And then you'll know where you're going to go with it next.
Exactly. And then we're going to regroup, work out what worked and didn't. And I'd be looking specifically at the creative, the targeting, and what your main campaign objective was. And if you do start to spend enough on the platform, the Reddit reps that we've been in contact with have been amazing and amazing support as well. So if you do ever get access to those, I would jump on them and take on all their advice, because they've been a real big part in the success that we've seen.
Oh, cool. Okay. So We've talked about 1 week not being long enough to optimise it. This episode is going out in August, towards the end of August. Is it feasible for anyone listening to this the first week it goes live to be able to build up ahead of steam on the platform to drive results for Black Friday, Q4, etc.? Or is it a bit late in the day to be doing that?
It depends how long the lead time in your own company is. If you can start launching things, say 2-ish weeks before Black Friday, and you're ready to be in a place to launch, then I would say no, you're not too late. To me, though, Black Friday too late is launching on Black Friday. Like, I feel like you need to be there 2 weeks before. You need your campaigns to have learnt enough that they're ready to go full steam ahead within that Black Friday week. And now I personally think that Black Friday nearly marks the end of it as opposed to the beginning of it, with the amount of offers that come up before.
Got you. So get that pixel in place, get your techie setup done, start testing to learn which targeting and which graphics and text, video, etc. are working for you. But this could be something that you've got through the testing phase and you're on rollout by the time we get to October, November.
Yeah, and become really close to your creative team or a creative freelancer who can help you make those ads, because the success of the ads, I think about 75 to 80% of the success comes from the creative that their ad is. So that's really, really, really important to get right. And having a few different versions that you can test is really important as well. On Reddit, I wouldn't be discounting static at all. So, and I know some of the other platforms favor video a lot more, but I would probably be integrating both of the formats.
Cool. Another top tip. Thank you, Izzy. Clearly, it's going to be possible for our listeners to get some results on this for Christmas 2023. Is it worth moving budget from Facebook and Google? What sort of, can we see a decent comparable return? Is it worth moving budget to Reddit for an e-commerce brand?
Well, we do our measurement in a few different ways. So we use what we call an MMM, which I know a lot of smaller companies won't have. But an MMM is like a multi-touch marketing method. And we pair that with our last click models. On a last click basis, I think that most advertising appears to not perform that well because there's so many different touch points. But on an MMM, Reddit performs really, really well for us. It performs within the top half of our platforms. And that's as much as I can say. I've asked. But it doesn't appear to perform amazingly on the last touch model. But at Vodafone, there's so many different points that people can convert. There's so many different touch points, and that Vodafone is quite a well-known brand. So sometimes that last touch will be a direct search into Google, and we're going to lose that conversion. So some of the smaller companies might be seeing a better result on that last click method, but for us, we have to take MMM as more of our steering factor.
Got you. So we're definitely saying give it a test and don't forget to look at the long tail attribution, not just the last click.
Yeah, exactly. That summarized it really nicely.
No, but that's what I'm here to do, is to do the summaries. You give the detail on the summaries.
And I think last click can actually lie so much. Like, we've tested a few different attribution models in our time here at Vodafone, and last click just it makes some platforms perform amazingly, but then actually when you're looking at other models, there's a different platform that's actually playing such a role in the middle, but it's completely discounted. So to us, I think Reddit is that middle, really. For Vodafone, it is that middle. It's probably not going to be the point that people are converting, but that it's that education, it's that pushing people down the funnel part for us.
Got you. So if it's kind of the education, the pushing people down the funnel, is this something that works for everyone? I guess, what do we need to be in a brand, in a buying space where our product requires that education, that research for it to work for us? If we're just selling jewelry, is it going to work for us, or is it more of a considered purchase?
I think there's certain subreddits and certain targeting methods that it will work for. But then if you've got a very specific product like a jewelry brand, you're not going to be doing a front page takeover or a very broad buy. You're going to be narrowing down your targeting to a really specific audience. But actually that very specific audience will have a really high propensity to convert. If you've got a jewelry lovers subreddit, then I think that sounds perfect. Or, so I think there is space for it to be in. You just have to be very selective and maybe you're not putting a huge amount of budget into it, you're putting a small always on amount that goes through the year.
Got you. I feel like we've covered so much about Reddit already, Izzy. But you're the expert here. Is there anything we've missed that the audience really need to know, or is there one key thing they need to be taking away from this before we head towards the insider tips?
I think the bit for me is that quite a few Redditors aren't on other platforms. So if you really want that unduplicated reach within your media plans, it becomes really important. For example, 26% of Redditors aren't on Facebook, 76% aren't on Snap, and 61% aren't on TikTok. So you've got that huge audience that you're not going to be getting in other places. So to me, that's the key, is that it's capturing those people that might have slipped through the net, or if you think you've saturated a market too much in a certain area, it's a great way to unlock new people.
Nice. Awesome tip. Thank you. Okay, Izzy, it's been great picking your brains about Reddit ads. Listeners, remember to stay tuned right to the end so you don't miss out on Izzy's insider tips on digital advertising and my suggestions for more free resources to help you improve things even further in your business. Do you want more from your paid ad campaigns this year? Are you tired of disappointing results? Are your optimizations delivering low to no performance improvements? If that sounds familiar, it's because the game has changed, which means you need a chat with my friends at Digital Gearbox. They are masters in the art of pay-per-click marketing. Their expert team have helped transform businesses around the world with tried and tested strategies that actually get results. And right now, they're offering a free one-on-one consultation to 10 ambitious Keep Optimizing listeners looking to get more sales and better returns online. Only 10 of you can get this brilliant offer, so don't delay. Get your free consultation now. Head over to keepopt.com/digital gearbox and let Digital Gearbox show you the true power of PPC. Do you have a problem only an awesome piece of e-commerce tech can solve? Is your e-commerce tech stack not quite fit for purpose anymore? Then why not explore the latest technology on offer at e-commerce tech? We are going through a hugely changing time in the tech landscape at the moment, and if you want to be bringing the best results you can in your business, then you need to be on top of what's going on in the tech space. To find out that and much more, head to keepopt.com/tech. That's keepopt.com/TECH. keepopt.com/tech to find all the best tools for your e-commerce store. Okay, Izzy, so far we've gone deep into Reddit ads. Now you get to wow us with your insider knowledge about the whole of digital advertising. So for the following questions, your answer can be anything to do with digital advertising, which of course includes everything we've already been talking about. So Izzy, are you ready for these?
I am. I was going to talk just about Reddit, but I think I might talk a bit more generally now.
We'll take whatever answers you want to give. We're here for it. Let's start with newbie advice. If we've inspired someone to take their first step, what do they need to know to give themselves the best chance of success?
For me, it's get organised here. So there's platforms like Notion. I always am obsessed with. I don't know if you've heard of Notion or if it's been talked about on the podcast before, but if it hasn't, Notion is essentially a way of pulling notes, links, everything into one place. You can have it on a website or on your phone, on an app. And having that digital note taking wherever you are just makes you look like you know your stuff. Even if you're on your work computer, your personal computer, I think always having your meeting notes, always having your personal notes or whatever makes you feel like you've got it together.
Love that. I so need to start using Notion myself. There are just notes on all different formats, including scraps of paper all over my desk. So I probably need to take advantage of that one. Okay, once you've started, of course, you've got to keep optimizing. So what's your favourite way to improve performance?
Favourite way to improve performance is always around creative testing. Like I mentioned before, I think creative has one of the biggest impacts on performance in general, maybe 75 to 80%. So I would be testing different orders of showcasing things in, different reasons to believe, different formats, different lengths, all these different things that lead into you have a testing roadmap that you are following, that you're actually keeping track of the tests that you're doing, and that you're doing a true A/B tests and not just having them in one campaign serving against each other.
Key thing to test there, everybody. I'm resisting the urge to follow up on that massively, so let's move on to the next question. Otherwise, I'll tangent us off for about the next 10 minutes. If someone listening wants to learn more, is there one cheap or free resource you would recommend?
This is actually talking about meta advertising now, but I think the best free resource out there is Blueprint. It might have been mentioned on the podcast before, but I think it's amazing. Meta Blueprint is completely free, and it's a training course on how to do meta ads. Reddit is the best out there. I think it equips you so well around so many different topics. But the only caveat I would say about it is remember that Meta are trying to get you to spend more money. So some of the things that they recommend might not be what you actually end up doing in practice. But at the end of this, I'll mention my LinkedIn, and you can always drop me any questions that you have with Meta and the advertising on Blueprint.
Cool. Thank you for that. It's nice to see an ad platform having decent training resources, but you always have to keep in the back of your mind they're objective.
I know I always have, always keep it. And because I've mentioned our Reddit reps, but our Meta reps as well are extremely great at training us. So when we have new people in the team, they train them up. Meta run great training days in their offices, and I know that some of the other platforms do. But if you are part of an agency that get access to these, or you have a social team that get access to these are brilliant, free, and they're a great place to network as well. Everyone in that room is a digital person, so you can learn something from everyone, even if they're not presenting.
Nice. Yes. Another extra kind of bonus tip there. Finally, Izzy, it's crystal ball time. What's coming up in the next 6 to 12 months that we should be getting ready for?
I'm going to say Threads advertising, because let's follow the, let's just circle back, Meta release a new product, give it a few months and it will be out and advertising. So I'd probably be getting prepped for that. Well, that's something that's on my radar to get prepped. We haven't heard anything. Let's just mention that the Meta themselves don't know when that's coming out or if it's even coming out, but it's definitely in the back of my head for the tests that we're going to run and the betas that we're going to push to be a part of.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean there. It's like, they have to add ads at some point.
I know that placement will appear in Meta Ads Manager soon enough, I'm sure.
Yeah, I haven't set up a Google alert or anything on it, but I'm waiting for the moment that social media blows up with the fact that you can now put ads on Threads, because I can't see it not being live before October.
Yeah, my prediction was Christmas, so let's see who's right there.
Yeah, I reckon they'll have it live in time for people to chuck a load of money at it for Black Friday, which I reckon means they've got to have it live by the end of September.
Yeah, I think you might be right, but I'll stand strong with Christmas.
Yeah, no, stick with Christmas. I might be being too cynical. Izzy, thank you so much. Could you please let the listeners know where they can find you and Vodafone?
Sweet. So I'm on LinkedIn, Izzy Morris. Yeah, as I mentioned, happy for people to reach out with any questions. And if you want to send ads that you've made on Reddit that you want me to have a look at, happy to. And then you can Google Vodafone, and I'm sure because of our great SEO, we're going to be the first that come up. So come visit us.
Brilliant. Thank you. And thanks for that offer to have a look at ads and things, Izzy. I'm sure you will get plenty of questions heading your way. So thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for coming on the show today and shining a light on a fascinating ad platform that I would be surprised if any of our listeners are currently using it. So it's brilliant to be able to talk about it with you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So there you have it. A totally different advertising platform to go and have a play around on, where, as Izzy was saying, if you want to do a quick 1 week, put enough budget there, see if it's going to work for you, test, you'll learn an awful lot about, is this going to be a platform you can work on, a platform you can optimize on. So we mainly talked about that self-service side of Reddit. which is where you're, like you would on Facebook or Google, you're managing your own ad account. You've got static image, video and text ad formats. Targeting can be by device, carrier, those kinds of things. It can be on their broad interest topics, or it can be down in the niche little subreddits, which is the individual kind of chat rooms, I suppose you could call them. Well, they're called subreddits, aren't they? But you know what I'm getting at. So an ongoing budget to make it work for you, probably looking at £50 a day plus. There is an algorithm you need to feed with data, so have a think about how many conversions you're likely to be driving for it to learn off those, and make sure you get that pixel in place, the Reddit pixel, same as Facebook ad pixels, Google pixels, all that kind of stuff. And if you find the reps reaching out to you, make sure you take advantage of that, because clearly Izzy's got a great helpful relationship going on with Vodafone's Reddit rep. Thank you for listening to this one. You can get the links of all those things we discussed, the transcript of the episodes, notes and more at keepoptimizing.com. Or if you use our special short link, you just put keepopt.com/episode number into the URL bar and you'll go straight to the correct page on the website. When you get to the website, you can also add yourself to our email list so you don't miss out on any of those other things we share to help you improve your business. If you've enjoyed this episode, then do scroll back up your feed to find our other digital advertising episodes, or use the short link keepopt.com/advertising to go straight to the page on the website where we've brought all of this month's masterclass together in one place for you, together with links to our content about Google ads and Facebook ads. Plus, please do tell your fellow marketers about the show, because I don't just want to help you improve the performance of your e-commerce marketing, I want to help them do it too. Have a great week and make sure you listen to the next episode so I can help you to keep optimizing your marketing.
Access everything Keep Optimizing at keepoptimizing.com. That's with an S, not a Z.
Find the latest e-commerce tech at keepopt.com/tech.